Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. My name is Angie. For those who are new here, I am very excited to have you on this platform. So for those who do not know, I recently got married in Germany. By recently, last month. So I am still a new bride, like one of the newest brides in town, and I wanted to share with you my experience getting married in Germany to a German citizen as a Kenyan. I'm going to be sharing with you the documents that were required from us, the waiting process, the experience, and what I wish I knew before we started the process that maybe could have helped me have an easier or a peace of mind. And before I go to all those requirements, I'm gonna say one thing. If you're gonna decide to get married in Germany, you need a lot of patience because it is not one of the quickest processes. If for any reason you need to get married faster, maybe within a month or even within 3 months, then getting married in Germany is not gonna be among your first choices. For that, I would advise, and since of course I'm sharing my experience as a Kenyan, if you have the chance, maybe travel to Kenya. If you're already living in Germany, you can travel to Kenya and get married over there. It is so much less of a hassle. The documents that are going to be required from you are not as many as if you decide to get married in Germany. Another option for those who are already in Europe, of course, is to go to Denmark. Denmark is like the Vegas of Europe. The marriage process can take place really quickly. There are people, or in the past, it's usually even you could arrange your marriage and get married within 3 days. Okay, nowadays I think it takes a little bit longer because maybe they are making things a little bit tighter, but still it's very possible to register for your marriage and get married within 10 days. So if you're looking for a faster way, then of course German is not going to be your choice. You can of course decide to get married in Denmark, and that raises the question of why did my husband and I not decide to get married in Denmark. Okay, for those who maybe do not know my background, is that the kind of stay permit that I was holding at the time did not allow me to travel outside the country, and that means I was only allowed to get married in Germany but not anywhere else in the world. So I was stuck with the choice of having to follow the protocol, to follow the long process, and yeah, eventually it happened, but it needed me to have a lot of patience. So now on to the documents that were required of us. I have my phone over here because I don't want to miss out on any of the documents. And the first thing, of course, that we did, or that anyone should do once you decide to get married in Germany, is to contact the registry office in your district. So in my case, my husband and I were registered in different cities, but we chose to register our marriage in the city where I am registered because it's a smaller city and it's less of a hassle, which means the waiting period before you get the appointment to now register your marriage, and also once you submit the document to get an appointment or a marriage date was much faster than the city that we now live in, which is Duisburg. And in short, that means that either of the two can have the marriage registered in the cities where they're registered. So once we contacted the registry office, which is called the Standesamt in my city, then we were asked to appear in person because every case is different. Usually the requirements are on a case-to-case basis, and since in our case one of us was a foreigner, then it was required that we have to visit the registry office in person, because then the kinds of documents that would be required from us would be customized according to the individual situation. As long as a German is getting married to a foreigner or two foreigners getting married to each other in Germany, then you are required to appear at the registry office in person. But if both of you have German citizenship, then you can just do your entire registration online. So once we contacted the registry office, of course they gave us a list of documents that were required from us, and they told us that once we have all these documents, then we can contact them and set an appointment in order for us to now go and register for the marriage. And the documents that were required from us at first, and I will start with the ones that were required from my husband, him being a German, current printout from the birth register of his birth registry, and that is not a birth certificate, it's actually a special kind of document that comes from the birth register. It has more information, it's like from his family tree or something like that. And then the second one, they needed a current extended registration certificate, and the document needed to not to be older than 10 days. And another thing that was required from him was, of course, a marriage certificate of the previous marriage, because of course he was married before and then divorced. And then the fourth one was, of course, final divorce decree and the decision that has been taken by the court. And the last document that was required was his identity card or passport. So again, if it is somebody that has never been married before, you see the list of documents become less. And yeah, that was quite something, because so many of these documents we needed to wait for some time. At the end of the day, from the time that we contacted the registry office until we were able to get all the documents took around 2 weeks. So for my husband, they only needed the 4 documents. And then now to me, so my Kenyan birth certificate was required with ubazetso. So my Kenyan birth certificate needed to be translated. You see, again, this is something that takes time. But for me, as I was trying to find which office I can go to have my documents translated, I ended up actually finding an online platform where I could send to them my documents on PDF, and then depending on how fast you need the documents, they were returned within a week. If you choose a faster service, you can have your documents returned within 1 to 2 working days. They send you like a hard copy via post, and they also send you a PDF copy, which I found to be totally wonderful. And if I'm not wrong, I paid around 40 euros or something like that. The other document that was required from me was the certificate of no impediment to marriage. Of course, this is a certificate that shows that there is nothing preventing you from getting married, that you are not already married to somebody else or something like that, that if you're married to somebody else, then the marriage was already dissolved or something like that. But in my case, of course, I've never been married before, or I had never been married before. And yeah, but they gave us a very specific instruction and told us that we should actually apply for this certificate of no impediment to marriage only after my birth certificate had gone through the verification process, which is a process that takes approximately 6 months. So by approximately, it can take a little bit longer or a little bit shorter time, but the average time of processing for the birth certificate verification is 6 months. Yeah, even it was written here that the certificate of no impediment to marriage has to have a validity period of 6 months, and within these 6 months, then the wedding has to take place. Because the verification of the birth certificate in Kenya can take a little bit of time, so the recommendation was that we should only apply for the certificate of no impediment to marriage after we have a feedback of my birth certificate audit process from Kenya. And then the other document that was required from me was my stay permit and my Kenyan passport. So also 4 documents, and that is, if I will just repeat, my birth certificate with translation, the certificate of no impediment to marriage, which also needed to be translated, and then my stay permit and my passport. And then we needed to also bring originals. All these documents needed to come in original plus copies. So for us, okay, because as soon as we knew that we wanted to get married, and I had already like done some research to know the kinds of documents that would be required of us, we went ahead and applied for the certificate of no impediment to marriage, and that was quite a hassle. The thing is, you can apply for this document via eCitizen. You can apply for it via eCitizen, complete the whole process, of course, online. And like it states here that every Kenyan that intends to marry outside of Kenya needs to apply for this certificate of no impediment to marriage, because Kenya does not endorse like bigamy. You cannot be married to two people at the same time. So for you to be allowed to marry, you have to actually have a single status. And then so the documents that are required, actually you need, and they say that all photocopies must be certified by a notary public in your country of residence. So it's not like you're gonna try to contact a notary public in Kenya. No, it has to be a notary public in your country of residence, which I was able to do that. I just actually searched online for notary public and found one at the city center, and then I gave them a phone call, and then they told me to just, you know, I don't need to book an appointment, I should come in. But of course it was not something that was going to be done at one sitting. I had to provide the original documents that I needed them to be notarized, because even if you go with your photocopy, they do not accept that. They have to make their own copy, and somehow they make it in black and white. I don't know why, but yeah, that is something that I needed to do. And I don't know, I paid it. It didn't cost much, if I'm not wrong, maybe 25 euros or something like that. It actually did not cost much. And so the documents that are needed, you need to fill out, of course, the application form. A copy of your Kenyan passport needs to be notarized. A copy of your Kenyan birth certificate, it also needs to be notarized. If you have been married before, of course, you need to have your divorce certificate, also needs to be notarized. And then because we are applying via eCitizen, then the payment, it costs around 10,000, if I'm not wrong. I just paid a flat fee of 10,000 Kenya shillings, but you do not pay the fee at the point of application. No, you have to submit your application, and then once your application goes through an approval process and they see that you have met the requirements, you have submitted all the required documents from you and your husband, then now you get the notification again via eCitizen. But the challenge with this certificate of no impediment to marriage was that when you're trying to upload those documents online, they do not accept documents in PDF. They really require very small documents. And if the documents, like when we were doing the notarization, the notary public was giving us documents in 2 different, pages. And that becomes very difficult, because to compress these 2 pages to fit into 229 MBs or 239 MBs, if I'm not wrong, it was really difficult to get the right sizes. And I remember once I submitted the documents, I got a rejection on eCitizen that the documents are not of the correct size, so I need to re-upload. And the more we tried to reduce the size of these documents, the more the quality was so bad. And yes, another rejection was because the documents were not clear anymore. You try to reduce a PDF file that has maybe, I don't know how many MBs into, actually they needed, I think, 200 and something KBs. It was close to, I don't know, it was very difficult. So what I did in my case, I requested my sister to go to Nyayo House. That is where they have the marriage registry office, because of course phone calls were to no avail. And even when she went there, the person that she met simply told her, you know what, go and upload the documents on the cyber. Because what I did, I sent my sister all the documents that were required from us, plus the application form, plus everything that we did. And then I sent her all the documents with clear copies via PDF, and I asked them to submit it to them, because they need these documents, and somehow we are not able to submit these documents through the online portal with the correct dimensions. So they told her, okay, go upload the documents on at the cyber. It wouldn't have helped. You know why? Because she would just be doing the same thing that we were trying to do here on the computer. So at the end of the day, by the grace of God, because it was getting really frustrating, and that one also took us some time, and I was of course praying about it, and just when she was about to leave, one of the guys approached her and said, you know what, you can buy a soda, and I will do the documents for you. I'll upload the documents for you on the platform. So I gave my sister gave the reference number, and also submitted all those documents via PDF to this guy, and lo and behold, perfect clear-cut documents were uploaded on the site. And then now once they were uploaded, I was able to now click next and next and next until the documents were to now go through the verification process, until the documents were accepted, that they are of the correct dimensions, and I've submitted everything that is required. And then I was now able to make the payment via, you know what, via M-Pesa. And I would say that the delay with this whole process was this whole time of document spending, and us trying to get the correct dimensions and reducing the sizes and not actually being able to meet the requirements. But once this guy assisted us, it took maybe 1-2 days, and boom, I was able to now move to the next stage. And then once you submit you make the payment, then they send you a notification and say that now they're going to publish it for around 10 days, and if to see maybe whether there is anyone that has any objection to the marriage, and if nobody comes forward, then they can issue the certificate. And again, that was the easier part. And then I knew that, okay, now within 10 days we can have this certificate. And remember, we were applying for this certificate soon after making our registration at the I think we even started the process early February, before going to the registry, to the Standesamt, or to the marriage registry. We had already started this process. So even when they told us to wait, I just said, what is the point of waiting? This document also takes some time. And my prayer was, of course, that before the expiry date, and I had that strong belief, and it was my prayer that before that document expires, we will be able to have our ceremony, which by the grace of God happened, just missed by an inch. We got married on the 9th, and the document was going to expire on the 22nd. But God is faithful anyway. So, and then 10 days passed. I kept checking on eCitizen every day, no notification that the document is ready for collection, because when you are filling out the form, and of course you are outside the country, you need to give a name of a person who you authorize to go and collect the certificate once it is completed. So I had written the name of my very sister, but she kept asking me, okay, have they contacted you? Have they done? Weeks passed, several weeks passed, and nothing again, until I had to send her back to the same place to ask, hey, what is happening? Why am I not getting this certificate? Because, in my mind, I thought, who knows, maybe the birth certificate verification process might take a shorter time, and we might need this certificate sooner. So my sister went there, and they asked her that, yeah, the document was printed out a long time, how comes you never followed up? And I'm like, did we have to follow up, or were they just supposed to do their work, to do their job, and do their update on eCitizen and then issue to us? But I think just because of the Kenyan way of toa kitu kidogo, when they know that this certificate is important to you, and when you follow up, then you're gonna get desperate, and then they're gonna ask you for tea, and you have to give some tea for it to be produced. And yes, of course, my sister goes there and finds that the document was printed out but never signed, and was told, okay, for it to be signed, you need to give some tea, and it will be released that very same day. And you get to a point, you're like, what is 5,000 shillings for my peace of mind? So you pay the money. First I tried to negotiate. Oh, it's too much. What about 3,000? And I'm like, no. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I had to part with something small, and the same day the document was released and my sister was able to send me the original document via DHL, and then I sent it again to the translation service and I got the translation, which was totally accepted. This service is, I find it to be wonderful, and in future if I ever need my documents translated, I would never hassle to go to any office. No, just go through the same service because the documents were accepted. So that was the process. And then the other hassle, of course, was the birth certificate verification. And for that, during the time of registering for the marriage, I needed to pay 250 euros. And yes, I was told that the process takes approximately 6 months and should refrain from making any inquiries. And when the embassy in Nairobi, because usually the birth certificate, the original birth certificate is sent to Nairobi, and then to the German embassy in Nairobi, and then through their private lawyers, they send these lawyers to search the birth records from your place of birth. Myself, I was born in Eldoret, and you just wonder like, okay, fine, I understand, but really 6 months? 6 months? As if you're looking for a needle in a haystack. It did not make any sense to me. But anyway, yeah, it did take even more than 6 months. And and the funny thing is that when the document came back, the acknowledgement that the embassy had received the document was in at the beginning of March, and when the birth certificate came back, which it came back at the end of September, but the process was completed in June. Make it make sense. Like, why? Why were they just keeping it there? The process was completed in June, and even there is a sticker at the back side of the birth certificate which says that if that certificate needs to be used anywhere in Germany, there is no more verification that needs to be done, that the verification was already done, and that stands. It's already been confirmed that it's a genuine document that can be used anywhere in Germany for whatever reason that my birth certificate may be needed. But yeah, when it came, it had been completed on the 26th of June, and yet I received it 3 months later. Like, I shared another video. I shared on another video how I was going through an unexplainable delay, and now you can see like how this thing doesn't make any sense. Why would they keep a document that has already been verified, that the audit has already been given for 3 months, yet they could have just sent it back? And because once the document came back to Germany, which was the one that was holding the entire marriage process, and once the registry office received this document back to Germany, that was after 6 months, then they contacted us and they told us that now we have all the documents that we needed, and you guys can now come, make another appointment to come and then decide on a date according to whatever is available. So yes, those are the documents that were required from us, and it was such a hassle. And I tried to check every single day, to check my emails, to check our post, whether anything came through, and it was only really after seeking divine assistance that the document was finally released to me and we got married. So I hope you learned something, and if you are just watching this video out of curiosity still, do not forget to leave a like, do not forget to leave a comment. And also, if you are watching this video because you're planning to get married in Germany, then I wish you all the best, and I hope you picked up 1 or 2 things, and yeah, you can be smarter, or you can manage your expectations. So thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I remain Angie Owoko, and I will see you on another video.